Now the second catalyst, and this is the main reason why this stock might double soon, I share my newest stock pick with you today in a very time-sensitive video. This video will either age very well or very poorly, as I think this stock could nearly double after January 7th. But either way, thinking long term, I think this is a great stock for the next 2 to 3 years. Let's do it. What's going on, everybody? My name is Matthew. Welcome back to my channel, and today we are talking all things BRE, also known as ticker BBBY. And before you roll your eyes, let me explain why Bed Bath & Beyond might have a chance to rocket in stock price very soon. It may be similar to what happened with Nordstrom, JWN. And by the way, I sat through a nearly 3-hour investor presentation with no option for 2x speed. It took me about 5 hours just to get through the whole thing, so if you appreciate the research, I'd really appreciate an early thumbs up to push this video out to more people. I know this isn't your typical futuristic, high growth, exciting, hyped up stock you'd find here on YouTube, but that's what this channel is about. It's about finding long-term winners that are under the radar that not many other people are talking about. So despite your knee-jerk reaction to probably want nothing to do with Bed Bath & Beyond as an investment, I think if you watch this video all the way through, you'll start to agree with me that this offers a lot of upside with a lot less risk than the stocks people are talking about now. Give me the format. First, why the heck would I want to invest in this brick and mortar, seemingly dead brand? I explain the incredible turnaround story taking place right now and the opportunity it presents. Second, comparing the old Bed Bath & Beyond versus the new one and how new management will unlock tons of shareholder value. Third, we take a look at an absolutely insane near-term catalyst for the stock happening in just 2 days, January 7th. And finally, fourth, what am I going to do? The investor community and Patreon and Discord, where I post my buy-sell alerts, is back open for the month of January. And of course, we have the Tesla Shorts box giveaway going on. But no more time wasted. Let's get right into it with part 1. You thought Bed Bath & Beyond was dead, but that couldn't be further from the truth. Here is the opportunity. Right now, Bed Bath & Beyond, we'll just call it the Triple B for the rest of this video, is transforming into a completely new company, like entirely. To be blunt, over a year ago, the Triple B was a trash business. And the main issue was really with management. So BBBY decided to wipe out their entire senior management team and replace them with a brand new Beast Mode team. I'll go way more in depth into this team later, but here's a sneak peek to get you excited for what's coming in this video. I mean, just look at the companies these guys are coming from. This team is crucial to this investment working out. Now, it's no secret that Triple B has been pummeled over the past 5 years, dropping as much as 90%. But that's what a turnaround play is all about. We enter here, right as the company's fundamentally changing, and the stock will then hopefully decide to rebound and trend upwards. As investors, it's almost like we're doing a house flip. This is a visualization of Bed Bath & Beyond in early 2019. Terrible house, cracks everywhere, and the landlord, aka past management, sucked. But it had a good location and good bones and good foundation. Right now, this is a very cheap house. But in late 2019, the new CEO, Mark Tritton, whose impressive background we'll get into later, comes in with his team to strip it down to its bones. Here are the prices starting to bottom as we start to see improvements, and this is where we'd be investing right now. In the future, the new landlords, or in this case new management, will make BBBY just as nice as the other houses in the neighborhood, and its value or stock price will have gone up dramatically. The Triple B is chasing a $460 billion market opportunity with $108 billion from the home category. They specialize in products seen in bedrooms, bathrooms, and kitchens, but do much more. Triple B also owns the brand Bye Bye Baby, which represents that $110 billion opportunity. And they're also targeting beauty, as well as all of these categories which are represented by the Beyond category. Another concern might be that Triple B can't compete with the Amazons and Wayfairs of the world or new online retailers, so it's not worth investing in. Well, here's what I think. I agree that Bed Bath & Beyond probably won't beat Amazon or Wayfair, but in order for us to get a good return on investment, Bed Bath & Beyond doesn't have to beat them, it just has to beat itself. New management just needs to turn this company into a better company than it was 2 years ago, and let me tell you, that is setting a really low bar, also known as an incredibly achievable benchmark. Let's talk about that in part 2, the old Bed Bath & Beyond versus the new one, and this is really why I'm so confident. Again, the old Triple B was so bad that just bringing this business on par with the rest of the industry should grow the business. This is a little segment I like to call At the Old Triple B, and again that stands for Bed Bath & Beyond. At the old Triple B, arguably their biggest downfall was their unwillingness to go digital and evolve into e-commerce. In fact, they continued to expand their brick and mortar footprint. In just the past 6 months, they launched BOPIS, which is buy online, pick up in store, and curbside pickup. They've also begun rolling out same-day delivery across several Bed Bath & Beyond stores and buybuy BABY stores after partnering with Instacart and Shipt, a Target company. They also redesigned and relaunched the Bed Bath & Beyond and buybuy BABY websites, including upgrades such as a streamlined checkout process that reduced the number of steps from 7 to 3. They also audited their website and were able to resolve over 110 different pain points. These digital efforts have led to 1 billion visits to digital properties, a 15% increase in BOPIS and curbside sales, 2.5 million app downloads, and 3.8 million new digital customers. This has translated into 1.4 completely new users who are 6 years younger than Triple B's current customer base, and these customers are also less likely to use their famous coupon. And that last part is very important, which we'll talk about later, because the coupon is a huge part of Triple B's identity. They saw an 82% year-over-year increase in online sales in Q1 and 88% increase in Q2, and they expect $3 billion of digital sales for 2020, and to put that into context, they have been averaging about $12 billion in revenue, meaning this would make up roughly 25% of revenue. So yeah, I would say that management is really killing that long overdue move to digital, and they're moving quickly. That was all in the last 6 months. And by the way, the man spearheading this effort, Rafe Massoud, the chief digital officer, had incredible testimonies to his leadership from past coworkers. Review after review just like this, which is pretty rare and pretty incredible in my opinion. To continue this segment, at the old Triple B, management would make very ineffective acquisitions, adding companies that just weighed the overall business down and had no financial benefits. Just to tie this back to our house analogy, it's like if the landlord spent $5,000 on a koi pond that just turned into a mosquito-infested, swampy pit. It costs money and adds no value. The new Triple B management has started selling these, what they call non-core assets in their portfolio. And this is what I mean by stripping the company to its bones and rebuilding. These divestitures of non-core brands have provided $400 million in cash, and just recently they struck another deal to sell Cost Plus World Market for an undisclosed amount. Now you're hopefully starting to see what I mean by easy fixes to unlock shareholder value. They can now use this money to pay off debt, invest in their digital and supply chain initiatives, and also buy back shares, which we'll talk about in part 3. Speaking of going digital, they also pruned the number of brick and mortar locations. At the old Triple B, they had overlapping locations that led to competition between Bed Bath & Beyond stores and inefficient economics. This is what it looks like now after new management did a data-driven analysis of the most essential and strategically placed brick and mortar stores. You might see news about a Triple B store closing near you and you'd think, that's not a good sign. But actually, that is new management strategically saving expenses and turning this operation into a lean, mean machine. They're also getting more competitive in every way. Bed Bath & Beyond is very famous for their coupons. Well, first of all, at the old Triple B, cashiers wouldn't even check the expiration date on these coupons. And secondly, the pricing model for these coupons from old management made their prices very uncompetitive. You see, at the old Triple B, without the coupon, the base price for their products was 14% higher than the average store. But with the coupon, it was just a mere 3% cheaper. Today, Triple B has changed their pricing, closed that gap, and made their prices more attractive at first glance, and even more enticing with the coupon at a 13% discount. At the old Triple B, store managers actually had purchasing power, meaning they could help decide what was going on the shelves in terms of inventory. This led to them being completely overstocked with 20 different brands for each product, which either paralyzed customer decision making or turned the store into more of a showroom, where customers would go in, look around, and order that same item from Amazon while literally standing in the store. Well, you can see today, they've completely reimagined the store's layout for more inspiration, organization, easier decision making, and this actually leads to much higher sales and conversion rates. Triple B has begun to renovate their stores one by one to be cleaner, much easier to navigate, and carrying fewer brands to make products more approachable and to cut on vendor and supply chain costs. One of the first locations to be renovated is in Watchung, New Jersey, and I actually looked for some Yelp reviews post-renovation. There was only one recent review that said anything about the remodel, but it seemed pretty positive. And to wrap up our segment, at the old Triple B, same-store sales fell by over 6% from 2018 to 2019. But now, management expects same-store sales to actually stabilize and even increase. And I remind you, the bar is set so low and BBBY is competing against itself here. To demonstrate my point, if this decrease was baked into the stock price, then theoretically, an increase in same-store sales or even flat same-store sales would be a reason for the stock to move up, even if it's not as good as their competition. To sum it all up, there's so much low-hanging fruit and easy fixes that new management can make to improve this business, especially at the beginning, that I am incredibly confident at least the first half of this turnaround will go pretty smoothly. Of course, there was the fact that a global situation kind of broke out right as they were starting this process. Now, before we get into the catalysts in part 3 and talk about why this stock might double very soon, let's talk about arguably the most important part of this video, the team, because this turnaround only works if the team works. Again, this is an entirely new senior leadership team, but this team is stacked. Their fearless leader, Mark Tritton, has an incredible background. He previously worked at Nordstrom, Nike, and Timberland, but his most notable achievements came from his time at Target as Chief Merchandising Officer. I don't know about you, but I only started really liking Target maybe 2 years ago, coincidentally while he was there. But maybe it wasn't a coincidence, as many people point to him as a large reason for Target's transformational success these past few years. I think he's a fantastic CEO choice, and he knows exactly what he's doing. On top of that, you have people from Amazon, Procter & Gamble, L Brands, Disney, Walgreens, Walmart, Home Depot. I mean, it's absolutely insane. And there's more where that came from. Starbucks, Michaels, Best Buy, Williams-Sonoma, one of their competitors, Old Navy. To say their team has experience would be an understatement. And to me, one of the most exciting things about this team is their approach. They're coming into this as if they're starting a startup, again, a new company, but this startup has $1 billion of cash on their balance sheet. Check out a couple of these clips talking about their team dynamic and their approach.
I think we gelled faster than any other team I've ever been part of.
We are focused, we are aligned, and we are driving for very similar goals.
There is nothing stopping us.
I'm very unique, very unprecedented, and probably a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for all of us to remake this great brand.
One of the reasons that it's so exciting to be part of this transformation, it's like being an entrepreneur. It's like being in a startup, right? Now, it's a startup with a lot of financial strength and a lot of financial resilience. So it's a startup that is a Fortune 500 company. That is tremendous potential for unlocking shareholder value.
After finishing my research, it was absolutely clear to me that this team feeds off of each other's energy. They work well together. And after just a few months of starting their positions at Bed Bath & Beyond, they were hit with this whole global situation, and they navigated it with ease. They made major improvements despite all of this. And that is something incredible for a completely new team to pull off something like that. Another thing I noticed was that the CFO and CEO seemed a bit conservative, actually very conservative with their financial estimates, and I think they might be sandbagging, which is basically when you set your guidance and your estimates low so you know you can crush them and have a great quarter. For the sake of the length of this video, I can't go into their financials in this one, but just know they have a very strong balance sheet, and I highly recommend you to go take a look for yourself. But for now, let's talk about why they might double very soon. Okay, part 3, the upcoming catalysts for Brie. There are two main catalysts directly tied to their stock. First, they recently launched an accelerated share buyback program, which is basically when they buy shares of their own stock. They plan to buy back $225 million worth of shares by the end of Q4 2020, then another $650 million from 2021 to 2023. And share buyback programs are great for people who own the stock because of the simple rule of supply and demand. A reduction in the number of outstanding shares, which is what happens when companies do share buybacks, often leads to a share price increase. because there's a smaller supply of shares to trade. If supplies goes down, demand and price go up. This is also a huge indicator that the company thinks their stock is undervalued. And as a side note, check out all the insider buying activity since July. Management only buys for one reason. Now the second catalyst, and this is the main reason why this stock might double soon, check out the short interest on this stock. It's absolutely insane. And this is from back on November 30th. Now the percent float is up to nearly 70%. Remember how I said that this stock was like the Nordstrom ticker JWN setup? Well, check out the percent float on November 15th that was short Nordstrom stock, 44%. Then, boom, from November 13th to December 4th, the stock runs 81% as a massive short squeeze occurs. The Triple B is seeing nearly 70% float shorted, not just 44%. And again, they report earnings on January 7th. And if they can report good numbers, which no one has any idea if they will, but if they do, and if they can get the stock price moving up, then we could see a massive short squeeze. Now, to be clear, I am not trying to trade BBBY based on earnings and short squeeze, and it is incredibly risky to trade based on earnings because really no one ever knows what they're going to come out to be. So let me tell you about part 4, what I'm actually doing. I actually recently bought some shares of BBBY yesterday, and of course all top tier patrons were alerted exactly when I did and with my full reasoning. And I'm deciding to buy now before earnings because I do think there's a good chance that they do surprise and that there is a squeeze. And again, this video could age really well or really poorly in the short term, but that's also why I'm not buying my entire BBBY position before earnings, because on the off chance that things go south, I think the stock could go as far down as $15 per share, and if that happens, I'll have enough room to average down on my full position. Because this isn't just a trade for me, this is actually a long-term hold that just happens to have a major catalyst coming soon. That being said, depending on their numbers and where it looks like they're heading after the earnings report, I may start to trim if it gets towards $30 a share. This video took about 13 hours to research and write, and it's completely free. All I ask is that you just smash that like button and subscribe. Check out our quote of the day, you might just learn something. And make sure to follow me on Instagram for daily posts about my portfolio, stocks I'm watching, and all that good stuff. If you're watching at this point in the video, you are the real MVP. Don't forget your peace and thank yous.